this is Hales here with your next art lesson. Today we're going to look at the art of an artist named Jen Aranyi. Now, she is a younger female artist. She is still alive. Yay! Sometimes I feel like we only look at dead artists. And she's practicing art today. She's actually a graphic designer, which means that she makes things for companies like magazines or like any company, pick a company, a credit card company. She might make graphic design for their website or things that they send home in the mail to people. So graphic designers work with images, still images or videos, and they work with text and information to communicate stuff to people. Maybe they're trying to sell you something, or maybe they're trying to communicate something like from a doctor or a company. So they combine text and images. So Jen Aranyi is actually an artist that works in a bunch of different ways. So she's a graphic designer by day. That's her job that she gets paid a steady income for. And then in the evening and on the weekends, she does more of her own personal art for fun. This video is more about her personal art that she does for fun. So what we're going to do is we are going to make Jen Aranyi inspired art. Our art is going to be round. It's going to include pencil drawings, watercolor, blending techniques, pen and ink illustration techniques and drawing. And if you want to add those little touches of the stars or constellations, you can do that with white paint. So I think this project's going to take us about 3 classes to complete, and let's go ahead and get started. Supplies you're going to need today are a paper plate or something round that is about 8 inches across to trace with. You need a pencil. You need a plain white piece of paper, size 12 by 18, and you probably are going to want an eraser. That's all you need today. 4 things. Pencil, eraser, 12 by 18 inch size piece of big white paper, and a plate. The first thing you're going to do is trace your plate in the center of your white paper near the top. So in the top half, and you want to draw a horizon line somewhere near the middle of your paper, and then you want to draw some irregular, natural shaped mountains. Now, I'm drawing the shadow or the backside of the mountain now, and we're going to use some illustration techniques to shade those or give them value later. If you want a creek, it's going to be skinnier and smaller where it comes from the horizon line, and it gets bigger as it comes out to the viewer or wider. That little line I drew was the bottom of the creek, so imagine that it's like a little ravine. I'm going to show you how to draw a tent that is 3-dimensional. You start with a triangle and then draw 2 parallel lines at the top and the bottom, and then your back line is parallel to that front left side of your tent. So that creek bed on the right side, you don't see that the cutout into the land, but you can see it on the left side of the creek. And what it does is it gives your creek depth. If you want to draw a rounded tent, it's basically the same way. You just start with like a half moon shape, other than not a triangle. I think it looks a little bit like a mailbox. And then you can draw the lines and the stakes coming off of your tent. I turned my Jen Aranyi landscape into a snow globe. So if you would like to draw a base, I will show you some different globe bases in just a minute. Now, let's brainstorm some things that you could decorate the base of your snow globe with. Anything that is winter or even holiday themed. So, for example, snowflakes, cardinals, blue jays, squirrels, deer, candy canes, snowman, cocoa, hats, gloves, mittens, ice skates, anything that you can think of that would be easy to turn into a winter themed design. Your snow globe base can be simple or it can be kind of fancy or more ornate with designs on it. If you absolutely hate the idea of turning your illustration into a snow globe, then you do not have to do that. You can just focus on your illustration. I also added some trees to my illustration in pencil, and they're not hard to draw in pen, but I drew them in pencil because I wanted to get the placement right. So you can see, just like the creek, the trees that are closer to the viewer or on the bottom of my illustration are larger, and the trees that are closer to the horizon are farther away in my illustration, and those trees are smaller. They're not going to be triangles when I draw them next week, but I just wanted to get the placement in there. Sometimes Jen Aranyi will just put a row of different size trees at the bottom. And if it's hard for you to imagine or understand the distance and the perspective, you can just do this row of different size trees at the bottom of your circle. They will be a straight line. They will just have a variety of heights. They won't be curved to follow the shape of the snow globe. All right, fifth graders, that's all for today. The art elements that we use today are line, space, because we designed our compositions within the circle, and we gave ourselves that limitation of the circle, so space. And then we also used shape because you drew shapes out of pencil and lines. All right, boys and girls, I'll see you next class.